They walk among us, not as aliens in ships, not as monsters in the dark, but as humans, politicians, CEOs, royalty. Their faces are familiar, their names are powerful, and yet, beneath the surface, something ancient waits, cold-blooded, patient, watching. This is the theory of the reptilian elite, dismissed by mainstream media as lunacy, brushed aside by scientists, ridiculed by academics. But beneath the laughter lies a pattern too consistent to ignore. Across cultures, across time. The image returns, the serpent, the lizard, the reptile with human eyes. It begins in antiquity. Ancient Sumerian tablets speak of the Anunnaki, gods from the stars who descended to earth. Not metaphor, not myth, literal beings, creators of mankind, according to the texts. They were described as part human, part serpent. Their bloodlines, some say, were preserved through kingship, through ritual, through control. In Mesoamerica, the Aztecs worshipped Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. In India, the Nagas. In Egypt, serpent crowns adorned the heads of pharaohs. All over the world, separated by oceans and centuries, the same motif repeats: human authority tied to reptilian divinity. Coincidence? Or is it the echo of something real, something suppressed? The modern theory gained momentum in the late 20th century, propelled by former BBC presenter David Icke. According to Icke and countless independent researchers, a race of shape-shifting reptilian entities, originating from the Alpha Draconis star system, has infiltrated global society. These beings, through ancient bloodlines and interdimensional manipulation, have assumed human form and now occupy the highest positions of power. They are not metaphorical reptiles, not merely cold-hearted elites. They are, quite literally, not human. The theory holds that these beings manipulate human perception through advanced technology and psychic interference. Their disguises are not mere masks, but energetic cloaks, frequency-based distortions of their true form. And when that disguise slips, even for a moment, what lies beneath is horrifying. Reports persist: flickers of yellow eyes, momentary glints of scales, unblinking stares during high-stakes interviews. Footage exists, grainy, distorted, quickly dismissed, but always present. The signs are there, if you know where to look. But why would such beings infiltrate humanity? According to believers, the goal is control. Total domination of Earth through fear, division, and chaos. Reptilians allegedly feed not on food, but on loosh, a form of psychic energy produced by human suffering. Wars, pandemics, economic collapse, events not random, but orchestrated, rituals played out on a global stage. This is the darkness behind the throne. The idea that those in power are not just corrupt, not just greedy, but inhuman. In the next chapter, we will examine the evidence behind these bloodlines, the families accused of being direct descendants of the reptilian elite, the rituals said to preserve their power, and the global networks used to keep the truth hidden. But for now, ask yourself, if they walk among us, would you even know? They do not rule through violence, they rule through blood. Beneath every throne, behind every presidential seal, within the DNA of global dynasties, there lies a hidden inheritance, an ancient thread, carefully preserved, ruthlessly protected. The theory is simple and disturbing. The reptilian elite maintain their power not only through disguise, but through lineage. Not all humans are equal. Not all blood is the same. According to researchers within the conspiracy community, the most powerful families on Earth share a common ancestry. one that can be traced back, not to modern history, but to prehistory. A time when the Anunnaki, the reptilian gods of ancient Sumer, came to Earth and mingled with early human beings. They did not simply rule, they bred. These offspring, part human, part reptile, carried with them a genetic code unlike anything else on Earth. They looked human, they could pass. But something in their biology, something hidden, set them apart. This hybrid bloodline was seeded across continents. Royal families in Europe, banking dynasties, religious leaders, media moguls. Across centuries, this lineage concentrated its power. Intermarriage was not tradition, it was preservation. A way to keep the blood pure. A way to keep the veil in place. Many point to the British royal family, a lineage stretching back over 1,000 years, obsessively documented and famously interwoven. The House of Windsor, according to some, is not just royal, but reptilian. The late Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles, even Prince William, names whispered in conspiracy circles, tied to reports of strange behavior, cold demeanor, and disturbing rituals behind palace walls. Across the Atlantic, the Bush family, the Clintons, and even the Obamas have all been accused of reptilian ties. Their ancestry, if traced carefully, connects back to European nobility, and further to supposed Anunnaki-descended bloodlines. Coincidence or selection? These individuals, say theorists, are not chosen by the people. They are placed. Their rise is orchestrated. Their victories, political, financial, or cultural, are not achievements, but fulfillments of a long-running plan. In 1999, a genealogical study by Burke's Peerage, a respected authority on royal genealogy, noted that every U.S. president up to that point, bar one, was genetically related to King John of England, the very monarch who signed the Magna Carta. To believers in the reptilian elite, this is not a harmless curiosity. It is confirmation. Bloodlines are everything. But why? The reptilian-human hybrids, it is said, are more than symbolic heirs. Their DNA enables them to interface with interdimensional energy. Their genetic makeup allows possession or influence from entities beyond human perception. They are not just powerful, they are conduits, vessels for something else. And this is where the theory takes a darker turn. There are persistent claims, chilling, horrific, that blood rituals are central to the maintenance of this power. That certain ceremonies, held in secrecy by elite groups, involve the consumption of blood, the sacrifice of the innocent, and the invocation of entities not of this world. To the public, these are myths. But to those who have spoken out, whistleblowers, survivors, they are memories. Trauma passed through broken voices, stories too disturbing to ignore, too dangerous to confirm. Whether symbolic or literal, blood is the key. To lineage, to power, to control. As we move deeper into this investigation, we ask, how far does this bloodline stretch? What evidence, if any, supports these claims? And why have those who tried to expose it faced ridicule, exile, or worse? In Part 3, we follow the symbols, the signs, the coded language of the reptilian elite, hidden in plain sight, in architecture, in media, in the rituals of the powerful. They tell us who they are, but only if you know how to look. They don't hide in the shadows, they hide in the open. The reptilian elite, if the theory is to be believed, are not content with merely controlling the world behind closed doors. They declare their presence, boldly, arrogantly, in symbols, in architecture, in corporate logos, in the hand gestures of presidents and pop stars. A silent language known only to those who speak it and to those who know how to see. Symbols are the fingerprints of power, and these particular fingerprints are cold, ancient, and serpentine. We begin with the eye, specifically the all-seeing eye, found on the US dollar bill floating above the pyramid, appearing in music videos, in fashion, in the set designs of awards, shows, and political rallies. It is not merely Masonic. It is, according to this theory, reptilian. The eye represents constant surveillance, not by a human institution, but by an inhuman intelligence. Watching, judging, waiting. Then there is the serpent motif itself, woven into logos, stylized in jewelry, etched into architecture. The caduceus, two serpents coiled around a staff, is used in modern medicine worldwide. Most see healing. Some see mockery, a symbol of the serpent masquerading as savior. In elite architecture, the serpent is often hidden in geometry. Obelisks, domes, spirals, buildings aligned with celestial bodies, cities, Washington, D.C., London, Vatican City, designed not just for function, but for ritual, for control. Consider the concept of reptilian glamour, the idea that these entities, in their human forms, must continually reinforce their identity through visual cues, a kind of psychological dominance, a reminder to those in the know that the world is not what it seems. Many have pointed to performances at global events, Super Bowls, Olympic ceremonies, award shows, choreographed rituals drenched in symbolism, serpents, eyes, flames, phoenixes, even mock sacrifices, all playing out beneath flashing lights and cheering crowds. Are these simply art, or are they acknowledgments of loyalty to something ancient? Hand signs, such as the one eye, the triangle over the eye, the devil horns, are seen again and again, flashed casually by celebrities and politicians. Coincidence or allegiance? And then there are corporate logos. Consider how many global brands use reptilian forms, eye imagery, or hidden serpentine shapes in their designs. Tech companies, fashion empires, entertainment giants. To some, they're branding decisions. To others, they're territorial markers, flags planted by entities who do not need passports. These signs are not accidental. According to the theory, they're part of an ancient psychological operation to desensitize, to normalize, to signal dominance over every aspect of human life. Governance, commerce, culture, even medicine. The symbols serve two purposes. They communicate between members of the elite, and they mock those below. Because to the reptilian elite, hiding the truth in plain sight is the ultimate expression of power. They believe no one is watching, no one is listening, and even if they are, they won't understand. But some are beginning to understand. Patterns are emerging. Whistleblowers have come forward. Analysts, independent researchers, and ex-insiders speak of coded communication within elite circles. A structured, symbolic language passed down through generations, impossible to decipher without context, but unmistakably present. This is the great cruelty of their deception. They don't just hide, they declare. And the masses, trained to laugh, conditioned to forget, carry on without question. But once you've seen the signs, you can't unsee them. In Part 4, we will look at the rituals, the hidden ceremonies said to take place behind closed doors, accounts from former insiders, claims of sacrifice, blood, and power, and the terrifying possibility that this isn't just about control, it's about worship. Power must be fed. This is the belief at the heart of the fourth layer of the reptilian elite conspiracy. That their grip on humanity is not merely maintained through politics, propaganda, or bloodline, but through ritual. Ancient, grotesque, carefully hidden ceremonies, passed down through millennia, veiled behind wealth and opulence. Outwardly, charity galas. Inwardly, something much more sinister. The theory claims that the reptilian elite are not simply rulers. They are priests of a dark, unbroken tradition. A tradition that demands blood, pain, and secrecy. According to whistleblowers, survivors, and researchers, these rituals are designed not only to reinforce loyalty within the elite, but to sustain the inhuman entities that dwell behind the mask. These beings do not consume power the way humans understand it. They feed on something else, something deeper. Fear, pain, suffering. These emotions, when harvested correctly, are said to produce an energetic substance known as loosh. It is not visible, not measurable by conventional science, but to those who believe, it is the most valuable currency in the universe. And Earth, under the reptilian system, is a farm. The stories are remarkably consistent. Locations deep beneath palaces, mansions, or military compounds. Hand-picked victims, often the vulnerable, the forgotten. Elaborate ceremonies conducted by cloaked figures, symbols etched into the walls, chants in unknown languages, and at the center, blood. Some claim these rituals are tied to satanic or Luciferian practices, though many researchers argue the origin predates all known religions. It is older than Christianity, older than Babylon, older than civilization itself. A cult of the serpent that has never ceased, only evolved. One of the most chilling aspects is the recurring claim of shapeshifting during these ceremonies. Witnesses have described the human masks slipping as the energy in the room changes, revealing momentary flashes of something else. Scales, claws, vertical pupils. It is in these moments, they say, that the illusion breaks, that the true nature of the elite is seen. Of course, these claims are violently dismissed by mainstream media. Those who speak out are labeled delusional, accused of fabricating trauma, or simply ignored. Some vanish. Some recant under pressure. Some die suddenly. Suicides, accidents, unexplained illnesses. But the names persist. The locations, the patterns. A disturbing number of victims and witnesses speak of the Bohemian Grove, a private gathering in California where world leaders allegedly meet beneath a massive stone owl. Others mention Château des Amoureux in Belgium, the Denver Airport, Windsor Castle. Places of power, said to double as ritual chambers. It is worth noting how often these events coincide with geopolitical shifts, economic collapses, or mass distractions. The theory suggests that ritual is not an isolated act, but part of a larger cycle. Feed the entities, shift global energy, and tighten the grip. But what ultimately is the purpose? Power is one answer, sustenance is another. But a third, more terrifying possibility is beginning to emerge among researchers, that the rituals are invitations, that the reptilian elite in their unholy acts are not simply maintaining their power, they are preparing the way for something else, something waiting, something coming. In Part 5, we will explore the connection between the reptilian elite and interdimensional gateways. The idea that rituals, symbols, and bloodlines are not just for show, but components of a far larger, far more dangerous plan. This is no longer just about control. This is about contact. There are doors in this world that were never meant to be opened. Not wooden doors, nor those of stone or steel, but rips in the fabric of reality. Gateways, veils between this world and the next. And according to those who study the reptilian elite, these beings are not simply rulers in disguise. They are ambassadors of something far older, something from beyond. The theory is chilling in its scope. It suggests that the reptilian elite are here on Earth not merely to govern, not simply to feed, but to prepare. Their true purpose is to serve as the bridge between this dimension and another, a realm of predators, of cold intelligence, of anti-human intention, interdimensional. This isn't science fiction. It's a central pillar of the belief. The idea that the reptilian entities originate not from a distant star system, but from a higher or lower vibrational frequency, a hidden layer of reality operating alongside our own, like a radio station just outside the range of our perception. And their arrival here wasn't accidental. The theory holds that long ago, possibly before recorded history, these entities found a way to breach into our world. Not fully, not physically, but through consciousness. They needed access, vessels. They needed humans to act as doorways. The bloodlines, the symbols, the rituals. They are not meaningless. They are technologies, technologies of the occult, designed to thin the veil between realms, to anchor the inhuman into the physical. Certain bloodlines, it is said, possess the right genetic architecture to serve as hosts. Their DNA resonates at a frequency that allows these entities to pass through, to blend, to operate. This, according to theorists, is why the reptilian elite interbreed obsessively, why they practice ritual with such precision, why they conceal their identities but flaunt their symbols. It is not just to hide, it is to maintain the signal. Researchers point to ancient texts and esoteric writings, from the Book of Enoch to Gnostic scriptures, as evidence of ancient warnings. Descriptions of entities from the void, from beneath the stars, who corrupt mankind through knowledge, worship, and blood. Not metaphors, warnings. Translated across civilizations, distorted over time, but rooted in the same reality. There are even claims that modern science, particularly in the realm of particle physics, is brushing up against these same boundaries. Projects like CERN's Large Hadron Collider have been accused by conspiracy theorists of unintentionally or deliberately tampering with the veil, tearing holes where none should exist, aiding the reptilian agenda under the guise of research. And what of the world today? Look around. The rise in mass hysteria, the growing sense of unreality, time feeling wrong, people feeling watched, the increasing obsession with surveillance, DNA collection, and global control. All of it, they say, part of the preparation. The theory is this: we are approaching a ritual of planetary scale, a final thinning of the veil, a moment when the entities no longer require intermediaries, when the hosts become obsolete, and the true forms begin to emerge, not as visions, not as myths, but in flesh. And we may be closer to that moment than anyone dares to imagine. In Part 6, the final chapter, we'll explore the ultimate goal of the reptilian elite. What happens after the veil lifts, what their new world truly looks like, and whether there's any hope of resistance. Because if this theory is true, the invasion has already happened, and the future belongs not to us, but to them. It was never about wealth, never about borders, never about politics. Those were illusions, a theater of control, smoke on the water. Because if the reptilian elite conspiracy is true, truly true, then the ultimate goal was never to rule us. It was to replace us. For centuries, the pieces have been quietly moved into place. Bloodlines embedded in governments, rituals performed under the guise of tradition, symbols etched into our architecture, our institutions, even our thoughts. And all the while, humanity watched, entertained, distracted, unaware that the world was being reshaped not by men, but by something else. This, the theory says, is the endgame. A full-spectrum transformation of the human world into a vessel for reptilian consciousness. A world without nations, without resistance, without history, where the old gods walk again, in suits and skin. Total assimilation. The reptilian elite, according to this narrative, are not finished building their empire. They are simply preparing to step forward. As the veil between dimensions thins, through ritual, frequency manipulation, and the degradation of natural human order, they believe the Earth will soon be fully compatible with their form. Already, signs of this transformation are said to be visible. Emotional deadening in the population, an increase in apathy, division, and spiritual decay, synthetic culture, obsession with artificial intelligence, transhumanism, and disconnection from the body. Environmental collapse, not as tragedy, but as terraforming, making the Earth more hostile to humanity, more suitable for something colder, drier, less biological. And the final step? According to the most extreme branches of the theory, it has already begun. The replacement won't be sudden. It will be seamless. A gradual vanishing of the old ways. People no longer remembering how the sky looked 10 years ago. Language subtly shifting. Human values, empathy, curiosity, wonder, muted, mocked, or outlawed. In this new order, humanity is obsolete. The reptilian elite do not need workers. They need hosts. They do not need loyalty. They need silence. This is the new skin of the world. A planet not ruled by reptiles in human disguise, but rebuilt in their image, a mirror of their realm. Cold, hierarchical, inhuman. And the most terrifying part? You wouldn't even know it had happened, because you'd already be part of it. Your phone, your job, your food, your thoughts, every system surrounding you, optimized for surveillance, for obedience, for emotional suppression. And the few who resist, marginalized, labeled unstable, made to disappear. But if there is hope, it lies in this. The truth is still visible to those willing to see it. Patterns still break through the noise. Whistleblowers still whisper. History still echoes warnings through ancient texts and forgotten tongues. And maybe, just maybe, something human still remains in us. Something they cannot mimic, cannot feed on, cannot control. A final ember in the darkness. But if the reptilian elite are real, if they truly walk among us, then we must ask ourselves a final question. How much of your life is already theirs? And what will you do now that you know?